Now first and foremost, let's start the video with some breaking news, and that is I am now a Split 1 full-time driver in the World Online Racing PC League. So as you guys may know, we started off the season in Split 2, did the occasional Split 1 race by winning in Canada in my debut, which was still insane, and now with the esports season starting for F1, most of the fast drivers have gone away now, so there's been a bit of a reshuffle and we are now in top split. Now in the background you can see we're here for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we get blocked off on our first qualifying lap, and that is caused by desync. Now we'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, this weekend you can see the updated kind of Drivers' Championship. So I know there's a lot of drivers. For future episodes we'll cut this list down and make it a bit more easy to digest, but all you need to know is that we are currently P7 and we're now racing full-time in the Alfa Romeo. So that's going to be our car from now on. We've of course got that race win in Canada, and you might be wondering, well, where are the results for Silverstone, and aka where is round 6? Well, simply put, round 6 got cancelled. We did the race at Silverstone about a week and a half ago, and since the new patch, as you guys may know, the desync issues have been really bad in the F1 game. So unfortunately, we're not going to have a round 6 at Silverstone. So essentially we've gone from round 5 to round 7, and the short-term fix for now is using the league system within the F1 game to fix the desync as best as possible. The problem is, for this particular event, it didn't work in qualifying. So as you saw a moment ago, we got blocked off by the Ferrari by desync. Essentially, it wasn't him driving, it's just the game having issues with the internet connection, and basically all the cars you're seeing are not really on track, if that makes sense. So yeah, we got blocked off. We done another second lap on mediums, which we actually had a clear lap, but it wasn't that great, so I had to go on the soft tyres. Now unfortunately, on my first soft tyre run here, we get more desync issues as we get blocked by the Red Bull. Again, he's not actually driving, you know, that's not him on track right there. And you can hear me say more desync in the background. I am about half a second up, but realistically it's a really bad lap. So I'm going to take this section of the video to quickly send a message and say, you know, Cody's, I really hope you drop a fix for this very shortly. I know sometime in October apparently, from what I've heard, but I hope it arrives as soon as possible, because desync is ruining league racing to the point where this race right here is the last race you're going to see in WOR for the foreseeable future until a patch gets released. So for now, it's going to be full focus on PSGL in league racing terms. So back on the way, we took a big chunk of time there to cool the tyres down, and we've got 30 seconds left in Q1 to try and get safe. So let's jump into it. The lap got underway, we had a really decent turn 1, the rest of the lap was pretty clean as well. Most cars at this point have retired, we've got some clear track, and we're going to get a nice clear lap in as we make our way through the front a couple of corners, and we should be on course for about a 14.7 as we run across the line.
Nice time.
I got fucked over twice in that. You can hear me say I got screwed over twice, but we do finish in P12 and move into Q2, and that was the most important thing, you know, with all the desync and all the issues. The important thing is just to try and get a lap in and get by. Now, in Q2, I actually went back out on those medium tyres that we used in Q1. They weren't that worn out, and it would give me time to try and have another look on these tyres and see if I can improve my pace a little bit, because my pace was a little bit off in qualifying. So currently, pretty decent middle sector actually, 53.9, not too bad, as we make our way into sector 3. This is merely just a bank lap, to be honest though, so we'll see where this does put us at the end of it. Making our way through the final couple of corners, and just making sure we have a strong end to the lap. We've already done one lap, which we had to slow down because we've been validated. But then across the line, 15.6, go into P9.
Understood, stopping this
but
lap.
that wasn't going to be quite enough. We're kind of, at risk of being knocked out, so we're going to have to go for the soft tyre and strap on a set of the red colour boots. And here we are then, currently at the end of my first time lap, and it's not too bad. It's purple in sector 2 apparently, but we're still a little bit off the pace. But you can see here we've got double desync as we get hit with a massive roadblock. Wow. And you can hear my frustration. I'm trying not to get too annoyed, but we've got time for one more.
Unlucky, Tom.
So we're going to go for one more lap.
You got another set of softs?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm just going to go again. And you can hear me say I could box, but it's a bit tight, so I'm just going to go again. I've got enough fuel. The only issue is I'm not going to get a chance to fully cool off my tyres, so the left rear is going to be quite hot at the end of the lap. And I do feel like that previous lap would have been the one, because obviously my tyre condition would have been at its best, both wear and temperature. But nonetheless, we get back on the way for another lap. Nicely done through turn 1, down to turn 2, braking, and then turning in quite early, using the braking rotation to keep the car tight, run the car nice and wide on exit, and carry as much speed as possible as we cross the first sector split. Pretty much identical to my previous lap, currently up by nearly 2/10 on Primoz Miklovic in P11. Into the middle sector, and now into the chicane, third gear, short shift into fourth, attacking those curbs, nice and aggressive there, as we now make our way into the long lefts and rights. Just trying to keep it clean at this point. I don't really want to invalidate if possible. I want to just get a nice, smooth lap together as we end sector 2. And at this point, we're actually identical to the 1000th to my previous lap, which I got blocked on. But, oh, fucking hell. Unfortunately, I invalidate. I just run a bit wide out of that right-hander unnecessarily. And we're going to finish the lap anyways, just to see what it would have been. At this point, I can feel my left rears giving me trouble. You can see I'm correcting. And the frustration there as we do the Toto Wolff smash on our wheel. And it would have been a 14.539, which, if we look at the final results, it wouldn't have been enough to get into Q3. We would have missed out by 4/100ths of a second. Now, having said that, to be honest, I do feel like I probably could have got through. I think the first run would have been the one, because it's okay. The first 2 sectors are okay on a second lap around here, but you don't really want to be doing a second lap because temperatures are just going to go too high. And the left rear, especially through that final corner, you're just fighting it the whole way through. So I do think, had I actually got a clean final sector on my first run, I probably would have got through. I would have pushed a bit more in the final sector, especially the last 2 corners and especially the last one. And I could have done it, but even still, P11 would have been a pretty decent starting position. The only thing is, for the race, we do have rain on the way. So, yeah, that's it for qualifying. Let's move to the race, and let's see what we can do from P15 on the grid. Now, as you can see, looking at the weather forecast, we've got rain for about just over 2/3 of the race, or just under 2/3 of the race. Intermediates to start with. Fuel-wise, we're going to go about 0.5 under. I was going to go 0.8, but I went 0.5 in the end. But here we go then. 5 lights are on. Intermediate conditions. And let's see what happens. The last time we had a wet race in WOR, we won the whole thing from P11. So, underway for the race. Not the best start, to be fair, but down to turn 1, we're going to have to go for the outside here, as there's not a lot of space for us to move to the inside line. Trying to run it nice and wide. There's plenty of room on the right side as we go through the first corner. Flores Villa's getting a great start in the Mercedes, by the way, flying up into the top 12. We're going to try and go around the outside here at turn 2. And we actually find a bit of grip and a bit of joy as we get 2 cars, Mr. Anker and Luke Smith, around the outside. Meanwhile, Flores and Adam Khan,
there is some desync going on,
battling, and that is pure desync, as you can hear me say in the background. You know, that's not them driving, that's just inconsistencies with the internet. But so far, a good start.
Oh my god, there isn't desync. I mean, Pritesh, to be fair, 1 bar connection. Bit of a sticky one. The rest look okay though. I think we'll be okay.
Now, Pritesh got spun out. You can see there was some desync with an outside spin, which is really, really weird, and that just goes to show and kind of proves there are internet issues. And we were evaluating at this stage. I was speaking to the league owner via my Twitch chat if we should continue.
We'll be seeing at least 20 minutes of light rain. Not sure whether dries or inters are faster. We're right on the crossover.
And we were going to judge it on a lap-by-lap basis, but I was pretty sure we were going to race, because once we got past that, most cars were fine and there weren't any connection issues majorly. Besides Flores, who did have some desync issues, as Pedreño goes into the pits to retire, which is very, very surprising. Why retire? Why retire on lap 1? Why does everyone do this? Fucking hell, so embarrassing. And you can hear me there just making a point, and something that does frustrate me, you know, why retire on the first lap in a league where the safety car is on and it's a wet race? You know, it's a bad look when a league has 12, 13 drivers or 14 drivers. So why retire? At least do, you know, 5 to 10 laps and nothing happens, then retire, but don't retire straight away. Anyway, in the background you can see Flores battling with JST, and we're going to try around the outside here. We go side by side, but we get completely run off the track, which I wasn't happy about, to be honest, but I tried to keep my composure. Again, in hindsight, knowing Flores had desync and he was the only one in this pack of cars that had it, I can let it slide, but that was a bit of a a rude shove off the track, but again, it wasn't really him. So, yeah.
Why is my shoulder itching so much?
Now, you can hear me say my shoulder's itching as now Flores goes for a move again into turn 1.
I'm going to go 56 bias to compensate for the rears overheating.
And you can hear me say I'm going to just make an adjustment on the brake bias because I was overheating my rear tyres on a 55 brake bias. In the meantime, Flores this time is going to get the move done on JST up the inside of turn 2. And a bit of a squeeze there again, but we're going to put that one down to desync. But he does get ahead. And now I want to try and run with it because my pace was actually really strong. I was really fast, really competitive, and I think I was probably, you know, lead group pace, honestly, with the intermediates. So I really believe I had good pace, but it's so tough to overtake around here. Yes, Neon couldn't load a setup. And yeah, we're going to make our way into the middle sector now, trying to chase down JST and see if we can possibly get past. We've got a bit of action up ahead. I think one of the cars may have damage from a possible battle. And you can see Flores getting involved. JST, Lenny Papinta, I think, has wing damage, hence why he's slowing down and pulling over. Meanwhile, though, JST and Flores are battling again, and there doesn't seem to be any desync this time. This seems pretty decent and fair as they head into the final sector. Still side by side here, as we're going to try and use this battle to maybe have a look and squeeze through the penultimate corner, getting underneath the AlphaTauri here. We're going to have a look around the outside of the final corner. I don't quite get the nose, you know, rotated, but we're still going to commit around the outside. And can we make the move side by side, banging tyres down the pit straight here? As you can see, Flores defending against thin air, which kind of proves the desync issue that I'm talking about. As we enter turn 1, you can see still trying to make this move as we get boxed in, but I'm going to commit. Still side by side as we now go down towards turn 2 versus Jay. Down the inside, he runs it very wide. I'm going to take the very, very tight, shallow line, get underneath Flores actually, and make the move and get ahead of the AlphaTauri. So, nice overtake there as we slot in behind Flores.
Vamos. Vamos.
You can hear you celebrate, happy with that move as we make some progress. And now, up to P10.
Should probably say that in a Spanish accent, to be fair. Vamos.
And that's more like it.
What's Flores even doing? What are these lines? Oh. There we go. People are starting to get impatient and get ugly with their battling. So, this is what I was waiting for. Making progress now, boys.
Now you can see Flores, he's kind of defending against thin air, which is just desync issues, and you just saw Primoz Miklovic backwards at the chicane. So we're now P9, so from P15 to P9, we've had a good start to this race, and just being patient, waiting for the right times to overtake, whereas others are being a bit aggressive and a bit impatient, taking each other out. So the race is going very well so far.
Don't have a lot more pace in this, to be honest.
And you can hear me say, I don't have a lot more pace. Flores goes purple, we match him.
Leading right now is SOOO Nomsy up front, John Evans P2. And I'm going to guess Lewis Welch P3 with Andreas Dormeyer P4. Pace ain't too bad, to be honest. I mean, Flores seems the fastest guy on track right now, but we're not too far off that.
So yeah, we're currently the second fastest car on track behind Flores. We're lapping faster than the leaders, or there or thereabouts, with SOOO Nomsy out front, who has a pretty big lead over John Evans in P2, if we look at the minimap. Nonetheless, we keep pushing. Personal best every single lap at this stage. And we're looking pretty decent. I was asking for a fastest lap, and I'm about 3/10 off Flores' lap. But you can see now Flores going for a move here on...
Flores just drives people off road, man. Just completely shoved Felipe off the road.
Yeah, going for a move on Felipe. Shoved him off again, I didn't know at the time, but that's just desync again playing a part. But yeah, Flores making progress. I'm trying to follow him basically because he's the man to follow right now. And we're going to try and get past Felipe Sousa here. Now lap 17... you can see we're catching up to Jeffrey Ritchie in the other AlphaTauri, and the whole pack is just bunching up right now, but...
I don't think the line is really dry enough yet to start thinking about slicks.
There we go, Flores, finally a penalty.
For a while longer.
Surprised that didn't happen earlier, to be honest.
You can hear me say Flores finally gets a penalty. He was running off track quite a lot, so I'm surprised it took so long for him to get one, but now you can see Flores struggling.
He's overheating. Oh no. His tyres are hot.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Got that confirmed?
This is it. Switch to dryers.
And you can see Jeffrey Ritchie just running away up ahead. He's pulling away and opening up a massive gap. We're losing time here behind Felipe, and especially Flores, who's struggling on his tyres. But you just heard, it's time to pit for dryers. Now, the track looks very wet, and I wasn't sure, but then when I saw DRS enabled, it kind of confirmed in my mind it's probably time.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
What a disaster.
Even then, I still weren't fully sure, but you know what? I'm P9.
I'm going to go for it. Why not? Let's take a chance.
And I'm stuck in a bit of traffic. Let's just go for it and see what happens. So we're going to box for mediums.
Track looks a bit wet, but you know what? I think it's worth a shot. I think it's worth a shot, to be honest. We can't break them, we can't pass them, so let's just gamble. And of course I get held. yeah, let's just go for it. See what happens. It's too wet, but you never know.
Pit strategy complete. See these
Or is
tires
it?
through to the end now.
Yeah, it's definitely on the wetter side, but it's not a million miles away. It's not a million miles away. I actually think it could be slightly quicker.
And you can see now on the mediums, I actually surprised myself how drivable it was. And look at this purple middle sector, and I can tell you we're on for a purple final sector as well. So this undercut is looking very good here.
It's going to be close.
Cars have stacked, and you can hear me say cars are stacking. It's going to be close. On the pit exit though, look at this. We've managed to get Felipe, and there is Janet Kinchi and Jeffrey Ritchie just ahead.
What a dub. What a dub. Come on. Let's go.
And I believe Flores had to stack up in the Mercedes garage. So right now, we are P7.
Oh, yes. What a dub. What a dub.
There's been an incident on track,
Come on.
but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
And now everyone comes back together. So everyone, for example, I think Shizu Nomzi, who's in the lead right now in the middle sector, I'm pretty sure he's gone for a full-on wet setup because he's so far ahead. So maybe now it's dry, it might go the other way. This is going to be interesting now. This is going to be interesting. And safety car deployed. A great time for that because it just gives us a chance to manage our tyre wear and get our mediums in the right window after going for that one lap undercut. Now, it's time for the restart. The track is pretty much dried up. It's still a bit damp in areas and a couple of raindrops, but we're looking at pretty dry conditions now as we get ready for the restart. Now, my tyres are right in the perfect temperature window as we get ready for the restart here. Behind Janet Kinchi, through the final corner, look at the grip we get. Nice hot tyres here as we get a nice tight line. And now for the restart,
Okay, clear.
Akinci off the pace. We're going to put some pressure on here as we go down to turn one. He goes defensive. We're going to go the long way around on the brakes. 50-meter board, third gear, round the outside. Banging tyres here as we have to traction up on the curb and still side by side as we go down towards turn two. Side by side with the Turkish driver down the inside into turn two. It looks like we've got the line. Can we get the traction to get ahead? Yes, we can. And we're ahead.
Get in. Vamos.
And look at that, P6. What a phase of the race, by the way, with the pit stop, timing it onto mediums, and then the restart. We're now in the top 6, and the pace was really good. Now, the top 4 were really quick. Nomzi, John Evans, Andreas Dormeyer, and Lewis Welch, they were pulling away. Jeffrey Ritchie couldn't quite keep up, and I was faster than him, and we're now finally going to make the move. But I can tell you, in P3, Dormeyer has a 3-second time penalty, so there's a P4 on the card here as we make the move on Ritchie easily.
Let's go. Vamos.
You can see he wasn't using any ERS as we breezed through, and the gap to us was 1.7. I need to try and get within a second and within DRS, otherwise we could be looking at a P5 here today.
My heart is beating like crazy right now. I'm feeling it though. Feeling pretty good. Let's get some send it emotes. Come on. Those of you that can. This could be P4 right now with Andres' penalties. If we pass Lewis as a podium.
Now you can hear me say my heart was beating like crazy. I was feeling it, and the pace of the car was really good. The problem is, because I'm not in the DRS train, I'm just not able to keep up. You see Lewis Welch fastest lap. We do a personal best, but it's just not at the level. And between this DRS straight and the next one, you know, those two straights, we were losing about 3 to 4 tenths a lap. You know, well, that's a lie. We'd lose about 3 to 4 tenths on those two straights, and I'd probably get about 1 or 2 tenths back, you know, throughout the rest of the lap. But I just wasn't making up that lap time, and I just wasn't able to match the pace. And you see the gap just gradually going up here as the front 4 pulled away. So my focus really was to just keep it clean, not get a penalty as we get our first warning for track limits on lap 28, and try and drop Ritchie out of DRS range, which we managed to achieve heading onto the last lap, by the way. So yeah, here we are, lap 35, and last lap of the race. We're going to bring it home in a very, very solid P5. You know, around Hungary, which they call Monaco without the barriers. P15 to P5, I think that is a very good race and some well-deserved points and a good turnaround after the desync issues in qualifying. So yeah, we'll take that P5 at Hungary. Damn it. Just the DRS train, man. I lost that 3-second gap. I tried so hard to stay in, but wasn't to be. Pace was really good though. Pace was really, really good. Really surprised myself. Listen, I'm a race pace merchant, okay? That's just what I am. That's the reality. I'm not a one-lap specialist. You know, my strength lies on Sunday pace. So, no, it has been a discussion for a long time on my channel. You know, even in my team content. But you know, I do feel like I'm just a much better, you know, Sunday driver, race driver than one-lap pace. It's just never been my thing to qualify well. Nonetheless, though, we finished the race. It says P4, but again, desync/lag. John Evans in P10. That penalty is absolute, you know, BS. He finished in P2, so we finished in P5 in this race. But still, I'm very happy with that. Made some nice moves, you know, on Chanakinchi, on JST as well. On the intermediates, you know, making some good, nice overtakes, keeping it clean, and getting past when it mattered as well. And, you know, we ran the outside of turn 2 on lap 1, and then the undercut. There was a lot of good moments in that race where we, you know, we clutched up and done the right thing at the right time. Bit of a shame we didn't quite get P4 with Andreas Dormeyer's penalty. We were about 1.2 seconds off in the end where we needed to be, but again, the DRS and the DRS train made it impossible for me to catch up, but still a decent result and our first points since our race win in Canada, so I will happily take that as we move on to the next race. But guys, that's it for WOR. We're going to go into a bit of a break, partly because of the desync problems. Until Cody's release a patch, nothing's going to change, and yeah, we're going to go away for a little while. So for now, full focus turns to PSGL. The next race is going to be the Chinese Grand Prix, and I'm streaming tonight. I'll probably be streaming, I might be live actually when this video goes out, so do tune into my Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom97HD, link down below, so go check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe for more, and as always, a big shout out goes to members of the channel for supporting the content. And finally, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. That's goodbye from me.